I'm Alexandra, and today we're going to be talking about how to stay organized and how to find the best way for you in order to do that. So the way I wanted to frame this video is with SMART goals. If you're a business major or you work in corporate, please stay with me. I promise we're going to go through it pretty fast. For those who aren't familiar, this is something that's used a lot in like the business world. So a SMART goal is a goal that you set that is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So the reason I wanted to frame the video this way is because staying organized is such a big, just general thing to say that you want to do. You really should pick a specific spot in your life and decide where you want to start. So you really just need to meet yourself where you're at and figure out, okay, like maybe you're doing really good with like working out, but you're kind of slacking off on, keeping your house clean. So it's like, what do you want to be organized? Because I know we all want our whole lives to be just like perfectly running, but you really want to figure out where you want to start. So number one, you have to be specific. Okay, so with being specific, when you're starting out getting organized, I want you to determine, what are you trying to accomplish? Exactly, what are you trying to accomplish? Are you trying to work on setting goals? Do you need better yearly, monthly, weekly, daily organization? Do you want to do your budget? Do you want to get better on top of self-care habits, cleaning, long-term goals? Do you want to change certain habits? So you got to figure out what you're trying to do. So for my first part of my SMART goal, I'm going to say, for my specific part, I'm going to say I will improve my weekly organization. So that's part one, okay? We're being specific. And with that, you also need to figure out how you're going to do that. So we know what we're going to do. Now, what do we need in order to do that? In order to achieve my goal of improving weekly organization, for me personally, mixing digital and written really helps. So personally, I use Notion, and then I use a written planner that I got from Target called like the Every Girl Planner for 2023. So some more examples of digital, if that's your preference, some digital resources or like digital platforms you could use. And again, meet yourself where you're at. So maybe this is just a list in your notes app. Maybe this is Google Calendar. Maybe it's Notion. Maybe it's something else. But those are just a few options for if you feel more drawn to like the digital. And I really want to point out that like you need to pick what is going to work for you. Because, I feel like, me personally, I see a lot of people like doing all these different things, like, oh, I put my goals on a bingo card, or I use like a mass calendar. Like, you don't feel like you have to do something just because it's popular or you see that it worked for someone else. You really need to just figure out what works for you. And so for written, again, it could be as simple as just a sheet of paper. You could use a planner, you could use a bullet journal, you could use Post-it notes. You can get as simplistic or as involved as you need to be. And then lastly, even like for whatever reason, let's say, just typing things out or writing things down isn't working for you, tell other people what you're doing so that maybe they can help you with accountability, or maybe it just feels a little bit more real to you if you explain your goals to others and they can help you. And another thing that I really like is I see people like on their Instagram stories, like they'll post their to-do list for the day, which I think is really cute. So that's another option too. So that's part one of our SMART goal, is specific. So for me, my example is that I want to improve my weekly organization with a written weekly planner. All right, so the second part is measurable. Your goal has to be measurable. So how are you going to know that you've achieved what you want to achieve? So how will you know that you have achieved organization? There's two different ways that you could set this up. You could set up a success metric, which is just a achievable numerical goal that you can set for yourself that is very likely that you're going to be able to accomplish. Or you could do an aspirational goal, which is a little bit more far-fetched. You might not be able to do it, but you're shooting for the stars. So you could do a combo of both, or you could just figure out which motivates you more. But for my example, we're gonna add on the measurable portion to my specifics and say that I will improve my weekly organization with a written weekly planner that will result in 5 days of consistent daily habits. So now I have a metric that I need to hit. Whatever daily habits I have set out for myself, I need to do those 5 days in a row. All right, third is attainable. You don't want to do too much at once. Again, you kind of going back to the aspirational versus success, you want to really meet yourself where you're at. So let's say for example, like you don't even, keep a list of your daily to-dos, and suddenly you're like, I want to do a bullet journal. That might not be the best option for you. You want to make sure this is an attainable goal. Are you being realistic and meeting yourself where you're at? So for example, if you're a busy student who works out, goes to school, is also working a job, socializes, you might not have time for a weekly bullet journal, say for example. And if you hardly keep lists, you may want to buy a planner instead that's already has everything set out for you, instead of jumping in too quickly and getting yourself overwhelmed and then you just end up quitting. Again, don't do what others do what is right for you. So an example I like to use is like people who buy planners. They maybe use it for like a month and then they let it go and they feel bad about it. You don't want this to be something that you feel bad about. You want it to be something that motivates you and that you feel like you can do. So if you're someone who maybe you buy a planner and then it just kind of falls to the wayside, maybe just start with paper. Like just write the date at the top, write out what you want to do and go from there, so you don't feel like there's this pressure to complete something. All right, so next is relevant. You want to make sure that your goal as a whole is relevant to your greater goals overall. So let's say that you're trying to really get back in the gym and change your exercise and movement habits. Your SMART goal probably wouldn't be, I'm going to make and keep a budget for X amount of time. That's not really what we need to be doing in order to get in the gym. So make sure that whatever you're doing is relevant to the goal that you were trying to accomplish overall. And the very last aspect of SMART goals is timely. What is the timeline or deadline for your SMART goal? And this is so important as a part of keeping and holding yourself accountable. So for this portion, being organized is such a big task. It can be a really big task. And so I really want you to be kind to yourself here with the deadline or the timeline. Life can happen and it can get in the way and it can slow us down or it can speed us up. So organization of any level can start to slip when, life is just lifing. So I want you to consider when you're making your SMART goal for getting organized, how long are you willing to let things slip? Because you need to give yourself just a little bit of padding and a little bit of grace, because I don't want this to be something where you feel like, oh, well, I missed a day, now throw the whole thing away. You know what I mean? Like, you want to be able to pick it back up and not beat yourself up about it. And then also I want you to consider, like, let's say like you're achieving everything you want to do every single day. How long until you want to reevaluate your organizational habits and see maybe where you can improve or where you want to change or where you want to refocus? So with timely, going back to my SMART goal example, I'm going to say I will improve my weekly organization with a written weekly planner. That's the specific part. That will result in 5 days of consistent daily habits. That's my measurable by the end of this month. That's my time. That's my deadline. So by the end of that month, I am going to look back and see how I performed and see where I can maybe change or maybe even add more stuff. All right, so I know this video was short. I hope it was helpful. Please leave a comment below about how you stay organized and if anything in this really resonated with you. I'm really passionate about organization. I'm kind of like I guess like a type A person. I'm just very naturally, I'm a planner by nature, and so I really enjoy helping other people like get things together. I'm definitely the friend that like makes the itinerary for trips and things like that. So yeah, I really had fun making this video and I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Once again, my name is Alexandra. Please subscribe. I will be posting more videos about how to get organized along with a few other topics. So yeah, stay along for the ride and I'll see you next time. Bye.